Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the dark corridors inside Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 14, Percy and Padfoot.
Or as I like to call them, boo! And also, yay!
That is pretty much right. Pretty much right. Yeah, boo and also yay. Although both of them kind of end poorly.
They do. It's really not a good chapter for either Percy or Padfoot. And I would go so far as to say that like Percy is like engaging with his inner Umbridge in this chapter to the point where like I don't mean to resort to violence, but I would like to punch you in your stupid face.
The level to which like Percy has swallowed the propaganda and the Kool-Aid hook, line, and sinker is almost impressive.
It really is. Like it's as if there is no critical thinking module installed inside of his brain.
Right.
Like, which is crazy for someone who is so smart.
Right.
Because you're just like, how can this be? Like how you come from such like a family of good, kind people, like smart people, like layered people, you know, like, and how is it that you're sort of like sticking out like this sore thumb? And
right. Like all that makes sense to him is like trusting in the establishment and in the rules,
which is oddly like Dursley-ish.
I mean,
behavior.
it's very Dursley-ish. Yeah.
Right. Like, cause I want to say that there's even like an exchange with Uncle Vernon between Harry where like even within the confines of the wizarding world, he is like the one thing he's willing to grant any measure of legitimacy to is the wizarding government.
Right. The ministry.
And he's like, oh, of course, that's where like Uncle Vernon would put his eggs.
Right.
And sure enough, Percy is just going to do it in such a way. But it again kind of like harkens back to that potential belief that upon Percy's graduation from Hogwarts, there's this like decent possibility that, especially with his ambition to go and be woven into the fabric of the ministry in a way that his father has never been willing to. Like, if you zoom back a little bit and even look at Arthur's like respect that he receives from all of his colleagues within the ministry, it's like as much as the misuse of Muggle artifacts office is looked down upon, it is not because people disrespect Arthur.
Right.
And it's like almost the moment, and I think, when does it happen? I think it's next book that he gets like a massive promotion.
Yeah.
And is like actually put in charge of like tons of people. And so there's all that going on. So it's like you can look at the layers, you can look at the hierarchy of the ministry, you can recognize that misuse of Muggle artifacts is down that weird wonky hallway and the office is smaller than the broom cupboard across the way from it, whatever. But the people there, the real talented people, know to respect Arthur. So then when they have a son emerge, because he would have had Bill, who goes on to work for Gringotts, and Charlie, who goes off to work with dragons.
Right.
And now finally, they've got like a top tier former prefect, head boy, Weasley,
right,
entering the ministry ranks. And you can look at it like this is like the time for us to like fold in one of the good ones.
Right.
You know, because like even if you compare it to like the Malfoys don't work.
They don't work.
They're not like elected officials. They're not like, all they are is donors. And that is the way they can use their generational wealth to enforce what they want to do. But when you need real good Barty Crouch senior grade people
right,
doing action.
And that's who he gets a job with, like right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like, is the Imperious Curse in play? Like, is this a situation where like he's being manipulated, but maybe not even by like Voldemort? This is more of like an Umbridge related regime, like the ordering of the Dementors to Little Whinging. It's like, that's not Voldemort who does that.
Right.
You know, that's the government.
I mean, I could still see it being, though, more like it. I mean, because it would track all the way back to like he works for Barty Crouch Sr. And when Barty Crouch Sr. stops showing up for the Triwizard Tournament, Percy starts showing up instead.
Right.
Right. But I want to say even in this chapter, they say that like Percy gave him like a perfect 10, right? On his
Sure. Yes.
whatever.
Yes, he does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So even at that point, you could argue that Percy has already been imperious because it's already the spell they're using on his boss, Barty Crouch Sr.
True.
And it's like, then they send him in. And what they want is for Harry to have a good head start going into the maze.
True.
And Percy gives him a 10.
Right.
Right.
That's a good point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's in the second task, right?
It is the second task.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
the moral fiber.
Yeah, moral fiber. So Harry definitely is outside the time limit. Like he doesn't deserve a 10.
Right, like a 9.
A 9 would be good. Right.
He didn't achieve one of the chief objectives.
Right.
You know, he just simply saves 2 people.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because Fleur doesn't.
Yeah. But
yeah.
so to that end, you can see where they're like, okay, all right, we were sending Barty Crouch Sr. under the Imperious Curse. It wasn't working. He was fighting it. Instead, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to send his assistant, this guy,
Right.
who's not as good at fighting it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. If anything, like he is somebody who is purpose built for the Imperious Curse. Like that,
Right.
it goes back to like what I was saying before. It's almost like if Percy doesn't have like a critical thought, it's like you can be massively intelligent and not be able to put together like patterns in, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like in life, in
Right.
people,
Mhm.
you know, like the social dynamic of it all. And maybe that's like one of those where it's like he's just designed to succumb to this. Because then the other version of it is when he ultimately does come around, it's in Deathly Hallows, and like the twins are like, what made you finally see reason, Perce? And he's like, wow, it's been coming on for a while, but it's really hard to get out of there, you know? And it's
Right.
like the coming on for a while, it's like, what is that? Like, is that him breaking free?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
You know, because it seems
Could
like
be.
it. Or is he just finally like, wait a minute,
I think I'm doing the wrong thing here.
you guys kind of stink.
I mean, it is so hard to say.
Not to throw
It
around swears. You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Like, sorry to drop a couple of stink bombs on you guys.
That's
you
right,
know.
that's right,
Or gung
yeah.
bombs, as
Oh.
this chapter would call them.
Heyo.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the chapter. I
I
suppose.
know. I'm so sorry.
Oh no!
Here we are.
We would have talked about that no matter what, because we're gonna spend a lot of time with Percy in this chapter, or at least via letter.
We sure are.
And I mean, it's like a long, lengthy letter that Percy decides to send to Ron. And it is just full of the most ridiculous, stupid things you've ever heard.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is like actively infuriating. Like
It is.
as I was reading it yesterday, knowing that I was going to read that letter, it's like no amount of mental preparation could prepare me for. It's like it's still going to make me mad.
Oh my gosh. And then I would like get to the bottom of the page and be like, oh my God, there's more.
Shut up! Shut up!
Like, dude. All right. So first let's talk about the chapter art, which is Sirius in the fireplace of the Gryffindor common room.
All I got to say is that I think the Gryffindor common room mantle game is quite strong.
It's great.
I love it. The nice, big, picturesque G right there in the center. I also like the depiction of the way that the flu powder telephone call conversation type thing is shown.
Yes.
Because I really don't like it in the film where like Sirius's face is like weirdly like the coals of the fire.
I don't like that either. Yep, don't like it when he's in the embers. And I think they like fix it in order for this conversation, I want to say, where it's almost more like a hologram looking sort of situation.
Do we see it in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you do see it again eventually. Yeah, you must see it there because this is the only other time it happens. Because after that, he's gonna die. Yeah, so it has to happen in order.
Okay.
Because I would only know because I was just rewatching something for a scene and I saw it and I was like, oh, they didn't do the embers thing again.
Oh,
but I
okay.
still don't like the way they did it. I think they got better, but not perfect, because the idea is that your head is literally physically there.
Right.
It is not
yes.
like you're not sending like a half echo of yourself through the fire. Your head is there.
Right. It's like whatever flu powder magic is at work. It's like you can sever your head in this way without actually like physically separating it from your body. It's just like your head is elsewhere, even though it's like not at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's good. I think this looks better.
Yes, I agree. Our first sentence reads as follows. Harry was the first to awaken his dormitory next morning, and then the dragons arrived.
Dude, I read this one and I was like, I think we've had this before, haven't we?
Have we?
Almost like this exact same first sentence. I'm trying to go back to Maybe it was chapter 12 because I was like, this sounds so familiar.
Yeah,
it's like
Seamus dressed at top speed next morning and left the dormitory before Harry had even put on his socks.
Okay. So basically, we're awaking in the same space as we've awoken before. But in that case, Seamus was the one who's up and at him early. In this case, Harry is going to wake up early.
Well, even chapter 10 is Harry had a troubled night's sleep. So a lot of chapters begin with Harry waking up.
Right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. So the thing that I think really stands out to me about this first page and a half or so, is that it almost feels like someone woke up and was like, I am going to get my descriptions of environments down exactly perfect today.
There was a noticeable increase in quality in descriptive language in this chapter.
Exactly.
Yes. I noticed it as well. I was like a new plateau was reached or something.
Exactly. Yes. It's like he lay for a moment watching dust swirl in the chink of sunlight falling through the gap in his four posters hangings and savored the thought that it was Saturday.
I know. I was like, that's quite an image.
Right. And then even the next paragraph starts with, judging by the sleepy silence and the freshly minted look of that beam of sunlight, it was just after daybreak.
The freshly minted look of that beam of, I literally wrote, lovely.
Right? Yeah. It's like, I'm like, what is going on with this particular chapter where like everything about it, like, and then if we get down to where he like is holding his pen over the parchment, if you ever look up very satisfying sounding words, there is the phrase cellar door, which like is, I think, like phonetically the most beautiful sounding pair of words, like side by side. And that was how I felt about this particular piece of written, story. Harry uncorked his ink bottle, dipped his quill into it, and then held it suspended an inch above the smooth yellowish surface of his parchment. And it's just like, it's just so, the uncorking of the ink bottle, like the yellowish surface. Like, it's like, it just sounds pleasant.
Do you know what? I think I might have a theory about what's happening here. We'll get to it in a second here.
Okay.
But first we'll go back to our freshly minted look of the beam of sunlight. The first week of term seemed to have dragged on forever, like one gigantic history of magic lesson. Okay. Which I think is interesting. I circled that because I thought that was an interesting like description as well, because it's like, is this like a lesson in like history repeating itself or something?
Oh yeah, right. Yes, absolutely. Like you've almost got, because you could look at Harry's first week of class and you could say largely history of magic, boring as heck, divination, troubling, but then also potions, ridiculously challenging, and defense against the dark arts, flat out miserable.
Right, and then like essays in herbology and in transfiguration and like difficult charms work, and Hagrid's not there.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like the fact that like what he's choosing as like the punching bag for his basis of comparison here is history of magic is almost like, why that one? Like, it doesn't seem like it's been a boring week. It seems like it's been a trying week.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is that like it says the first week of term seemed to have dragged on forever, like one gigantic history of magic lesson. And like the point of history, the point of history of magic, and like when you learn history in school, is not just to like know where you came from, but also like you need to like learn history so you don't repeat history.
Exactly.
But it's like this first week is an example of like Harry living through a history of magic lesson in terms of like history is starting to repeat itself. Like Voldemort is gaining power, things are going bad.
Right.
Like Voldemort is gaining power, things are going bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is like literally even Umbridge's installation at Hogwarts probably could ultimately go down as like a chapter in a history book, or at least a paragraph in a history book for like what is happening during this time period.
Yeah.
Like history will not remember Umbridge well.
Yeah. Yes. I agree with you. They will absolutely not. She is going to go down very poorly. And you can actually see her fate at Epic Universe.
You can.
Yeah, you can. Very fun. Let's see. So Harry remarks how this, even the description of the cleanliness of the common room. Harry settled himself down comfortably, unrolled his parchment while looking around the room. The detritus of crumpled up bits of parchment, old gobstones, empty ingredient jars, and candy wrappers that usually cover the common room at the end of each day was gone. It was just like, what a distinct description.
Right, exactly. It's like we're not regularly getting that kind of like visual, but like you can really imagine this whole like sun flooding through the kind of like ripply windows and the squashy armchair and the empty fireplace grate, you know, that he's going to like, even that is going to be like, it'll say, you know, he's getting ready to start writing his letter or whatever. And then it says, but after a minute or so, he found himself staring into the empty grate at a complete loss for what to say. And it's like,
okay, this is where my theory is.
Okay.
So, even this, you can even see, I wrote it down before we talked about any of this.
I love it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready?
Lay it on me. Yep.
Okay. So I think, is it possible? This is my guess, is that whilst writing, I'm guessing that J.K. Rowling had writer's block at this moment. And this is, it says, but after a minute or so, he found himself staring into the empty grate at a complete loss for what to say. Because that it is that terrible feeling of like, I know where I want the story to go and what needs to get done, but I don't know how to say it. Like, I know what I need to say, but how do I say it? So what instead is happening is, while I figure out how to move forward, let me keep working on the 10 sentences I wrote before this.
I see.
And they get ramped up in quality of description. Is what I'm guessing.
This is somebody who is spending not way too much time. Like, I'm not upset by any of these descriptors or the quality of the language being used.
No,
like,
me neither.
It's beautiful. Like, it really is. But it's beautiful in a way that stands out as soon as you start this page.
Right.
So I almost see exactly what you mean, where it's almost like, this is what the whole story would look like if you went through and revised and revised and revised and revised and revised.
Right.
Over and over and over again. It's like each revision is going to make it a percentage better. You're going to pick a slightly better word, a better descriptor. You're going to think of another thing to include in your list.
Right.
And all of that to say, this is Harry achieving a moment where he doesn't know what to say.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. There you go. That's my meta theory about what was happening in the writing of the page.
There you go. Yes. No, I absolutely see where you're coming from. It's like, this is like a little meta analysis of what's going on, but it's also then foreshadowing because he's staring at the empty grate and he's getting ready to write a letter, and the chapter is about a written letter.
Yes.
But it will also end with a conversation that happens in the grate.
Yeah. With the person he's writing to.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Yep.
Yes. And so he does eventually, and there's also foreshadowing for stuff that happens in this chapter and for it later in the book when Umbridge will intercept Hedwig. He says, how is he supposed to tell Sirius everything that had happened over the past week and pose all the questions he was burning to ask without giving potential letter thieves lots of information he did not want them to have? And it's like, just reminding you, they're like, letter thieves are a thing we have to worry about. And a lot of times it'll feel like, we're worried about things that aren't going to happen, but like this will happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and this is also kind of interesting as well, because one of the big things that is constantly going on with Harry, and like one of the like almost like integral pieces, like we made a video once upon a time, like, why are Disney parents always so dead? And it's in part because like then you get to see the characters have to make decisions for themselves, and they can't lean on their elders in a way that most people existing out in the world, when they run into trouble, can ask their parents. They can ask mentors. They can ask teachers, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
And there's almost always a reason why Harry can't go or won't go to McGonagall or to Dumbledore or to someone, you know, or he will go to Hagrid, and Hagrid would be like, no, Snape's just a teacher, you know, like, and it's like, okay, whatever. Like, he's expressing his concern to someone, and that person's basically like discounting that concern.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about this one in particular is that literally on the last page of the last chapter, Harry says to Hermione, I think I'll write to Sirius about it and see what he thinks. And Hermione will respond, Harry, you can't put something like that in a letter. Don't you remember what Moody told us to be careful what we put in writing? We just can't guarantee owls aren't being intercepted anymore. All right, I won't tell him. So it's like, if you're reading this in one continuous flow, you literally just heard Harry agree to not write Sirius a letter.
Right.
And then here he is on the next page writing Sirius a letter.
It, yeah.
Yes. So it's like defying Hermione's advice is almost kind of like a surprising layer, because normally that interjection is so that Harry can't get advice from an elder, and yet here he is doing it anyway.
Harry is doing it. You're right. And then so the letter he ends up writing is well done, I think. I mean, it's kind of interesting that he even decides, it says like, Dear Snuffles, which it's like, do you even need to use, like, part of me is like, do you even need to use a code name? You know, just start it. Hope you're okay. You can tell Hedwig who it's for, you know.
Right. Yes. Otherwise, Sirius receives it, and he's like, "Well, I must have received someone else's letter.
Am I supposed to think this is for me?
How would I know?"
Yeah.
You're right. But successfully using a code name, which is something that we usually can't say for the Order of the Phoenix, who is just absolutely lousy in such a
they
regard.
are lousy at describing, hiding Buck Witherwings from anyone,
It should say Dear Sirius. I'm sorry, Snuffles.
Yeah, I'm surprised it doesn't show Sirius's name crossed out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, then he's gonna go into but what I would actually describe as not very good code. Because he says, "We've got a new defense against the dark arts teacher, Professor Umbridge. She's nearly as nice as your mum." And that's the kind of thing where, like, if the person who is going to intercept the letter is Umbridge, she's going to know that Harry doesn't feel that way.
Well, yeah. Agreed.
So it's sort of like she's like, "Oh, Harry is talking about how nice I am after I gave him detention and carved words into the back of his hand for the first week of school."
Right.
Like,
I don't think he even thinks that Umbridge is the person who might intercept them, though. I think he's thinking more along the lines of, like, Voldemort.
I guess that's fair.
Or
whatever.
That's fair.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's true, because he's worried about, like, his scar hurting. That's really the big thing.
Right. Yeah. I'm writing because that thing I wrote to you about last summer happened again last night. This is a reference to the last book where he sends him a letter about his scar hurting when he saw Voldemort kill Frank Bryce.
Right.
Yep. And so he's just trying to harken back to exactly that same thing without saying what it was. Then he even includes, "I was doing detention with Umbridge." So it's sort of like, oh, remember one sentence ago where I tried to make it sound like she was nice? She gave me detention.
I totally deserved detention, by the way. It's like, she's really nice. Like, she had to give me detention. Yeah. And then he closes out, "We're all missing our biggest friend. We hope he'll be back soon. Please write back quickly. Best, Harry."
Yeah. And then I love when he sends it. He's like, "Yeah, Noah could crack this." He says, "He did hope Sirius would pick up the hint about Hagrid," to which I was like, not that subtle. Not that subtle.
Not even at all. Yeah. We pretty much know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
You may as well have just said Hagrid.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Also, a student just wondering where their friend / teacher is just also doesn't feel that, like, a covert.
Right.
It's like one of those things where it's like Harry has a long-standing friendship with Hagrid. Wondering where he is a completely normal thing.
Right.
Almost using a code name suggests that it's like I know Hagrid was doing something important.
Right.
But being like, "Hey, where's my friend Hagrid?"
Yeah, be like, "Do you have an idea what happened to Hagrid?"
Exactly.
We have a new teacher.
Right. It's like, that's weird, right? That almost suggests Harry knows even less. Than by using a code name.
Yeah, you're right. That does. But, oh well. Sirius is going to be at least impressed with the letter.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, he will. He will. He'll offer much kind praise over it.
Yes, and then here we get some more Sunlight description. Considering it was a very short letter, it had been taken a long time to write. Sunlight had crept halfway across the room while he had been working on it, and he can now hear distant sounds of movement up from the dormitories above. So I like that I think you're right. He got up extra early specifically because Hermione told him not to do it.
Oh,
and he's like, "I need to do this before she's up or she's going to tell me not to do it."
Right. Yes.
Yeah. But apparently he's been writing this for a while and literally nobody else in all the Gryffindor house has gotten up.
They're just all having a lie-in.
They're just having a lie-in. As it were.
Boom. Wow.
Boom. Yeah.
Yes. That works well. So anyway, then before anybody is able to make their way down to the common room, Harry does seal the parchment carefully and climbs to the portrait hole, headed for the owlery, where he promptly runs into Nearly Headless Nick, who is like, "I would not go that way if I were you."
I know. Then I guess it's like Peeves is going to plan a joke with the bust of Paracelsus halfway down the corridor, in which he's going to knock the bust of Paracelsus upon somebody.
Yes.
I don't know why this is included in here. It's not like Harry's detour takes him anywhere that like matters, or it's just sort of like a little bit of like, this is just how the castle is.
I think that this is going to be set up because later Nearly Headless Nick is going to actually knock over the vanishing cabinet that will come up next year.
I see.
And it's another instance where like the explanation is that it's Peeves who does it, but that's what causes the distraction to get Harry time alone.
You're right.
So I think that's
right.
That's why we've got that. But Paracelsus, a little bit of trivia there, which I don't think I would never get that if you asked me that question. But I did look it up, and just for the sake of it, he is Paracelsus, real person, 16th century physician and alchemist.
Oh,
so,
anyway. An alchemist. A sorcerer's stone chaser.
A little bit.
Well, what do you know? That's interesting.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. It's interesting that there's other celebrated alchemists. As I always wonder on the back of the chocolate frog card where it says like his work in alchemy with Nicholas Flamel, and it's like the point of the field of alchemy is literally to develop the sorcerer's stone. So what else did they do? Because he was alive for like 500 years before he met Dumbledore.
Right. I know. Yeah. It's a very good question. And I want to say there's like some deep reading somewhere that says that alchemy used to be taught at Hogwarts. It is no longer like an offered lesson. But also then like I just know that like in the realm of like other fantasy writing, like I mean Name of the Wind, for example, the alchemy is like a lesson you might learn at the university, and they do all sorts of crazy stuff by mixing almost like physics, magic, and potions into like a similar
distinctly not chemistry in that.
Not chemistry.
Not chemistry.
Yes.
Yes, but you're right. I mean, maybe it's just like too similar to potions or something.
Right.
I guess, or like, but what makes it feel less like that's the case is the fact that Nicholas Flamel himself is involved in the story.
Also true.
Who was like a real person and sought the Philosopher's Stone as the real world point of alchemy.
Right. Yes. Externally. Yeah. But yeah, Nicholas Flamel was in fact a real life human being on planet Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Harry makes his way up to the Owlery. He is his spirits rose. He walked past the window after showing a brilliantly blue sky. He would be on the Quidditch pitch later. Whatever. More so much sky description.
Right.
Here in this chapter.
Yep.
Mrs. Norse sees him, of course, and this is going to be like it looks like Harry is, I love the description. She had the unmistakable air of a cat that was off to report to her boss, yet Harry cannot see why. He was perfectly entitled to walk up to the Owlery on a Saturday morning. Basically what's happening is that Umbridge is specifically spying on Harry already and has informed Filch that Harry Potter specifically is going to place a large order of dung bombs. Be on the lookout for him. Tell me immediately. Intercept any letter he's sending. I need to read it.
And this is even kind of like interesting as well because it maybe gives like Filch like just like a grain more credence for like the way that he behaves in this particular book, because as you guys know that like we believe that Filch is just like a poltergeist. So if Peeves is the manifestation of rule breaking, then Filch is the manifestation of rule following, and like Percy is the kind of person who would have like fueled a Filch-like character, because if Fred and George are more like aligned with Peeves, then I feel like Percy was much more aligned with Filch.
Right.
But this idea that like Filch has been given this assignment by a Hogwarts professor and a specific thing that Harry is supposed to be doing, which might otherwise be considered like foul play. It's not at all why Umbridge is actually after Harry.
Right.
Like, she has given Filch a reason to spy on Harry.
And steal his mail.
Right. Under some false pretense, basically. It's like, that's not actually what Harry's up to.
Right.
But she wants to know what Harry's up to, and so she's got Filch doing her dirty work.
Exactly. He doesn't even know it yet. Later on, he'll just straight up volunteer for it. But here we go. I mentioned this again. Our glasses of the window. the glasses of the... I'm going to read this right. Thick silvery beams of sunlight crisscrossed the circular room in which hundreds of owls rested on rafters. Look at that. Thick, silvery beams. Thick is not how you describe light often.
Not often. But then I also got the straw-covered floor crunched a little as he stepped across tiny animal bones. And so then I wrote in owl ship. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. That's right. Then Harry summons Hedwig down. Get down here. I've got a letter for you. To which I added, please.
Exactly.
Come on, Harry.
He is being way too bossy with Hedwig in this whole book. Yeah, you know. But I do feel like he has like a slightly more gentle conversation. He says, "Right, I know this has snuffles on the outside," he told her, giving her the letter to clasp in her beak without knowing exactly why, whispering, "But it's for Sirius, okay?"
Okay, so there's the code name breakdown again.
Right, yeah. So hopefully nobody's listening on, you know. And also it's Hedwig. I think she knows.
I literally wrote that. She knows.
Yeah, right. It's like she's not dim, okay?
Yeah, right. Come on, Harry. Give Hedwig any amount of credit, won't you?
Right. And then he does say safe flight then. So we got that.
Safe flight. Yeah. Said Harry. There he is. Yep. And this one will be safe. It will get to her. Let's see. Then it says what clearly... man, I am just stumbling today.
That's okay, man. We're working through it. Day before Thanksgiving.
I know. Oh, so the next thing that's going to happen is Harry is going to catch another glimpse of the Thestral. And then he saw it, a great reptilian winged horse, just like the ones pulling the Hogwarts carriages, with leathery black wings, spread like a pterodactyl's, rose up out of the tree like a grotesque giant bird. So Harry is, of course, going to be like, what was that? And he's going to kind of get stuck on it for a second. And, of course, something needed to unsettle him right now because he's about to run into Cho.
Right.
But to me, this is probably a little bit good for Harry to see, because now it's not in a weird setting. This is confirmation that okay, no one was messing with me. Those horses were real. There they are.
Right.
Unexpected and unprompted.
I know. Yeah. And so this is, I mean, I don't know what the official objective here, other than kind of throwing Harry off the center before conversation with Cho is concerned, or just to kind of keep the Thestrals in the back of your mind, because it is this thing that kind of needs to almost I wonder if you're a first time reader, if at some point you're almost supposed to be questioning Harry's sanity as the story is unfolding.
Sure.
Is he really seeing these things, or is it just the darkness of everything that happened last year sort of manifesting before him?
Yeah. I suppose we haven't been introduced to it or anything, but there could be are the horses the Grimm kind of situation?
Oh yeah, sure. Yep, absolutely.
Are these bad omens or whatever?
Well, and people do seem to associate them as bad omens, but that's even Hagrid's sort of oh, it's just because of the death thing,
right?
You know,
it's actually very similar to the Grimm or the black dog he keeps seeing, where it's just he keeps seeing it and he does see it and people think it's a bad thing, but actually it was a good thing. It was serious. And it's oh yeah, these horses, they're pretty creepy looking, but they're actually pretty useful.
Exactly, yes. I do actually really love this as well. It says, it soared in a great circle, then plunged once more into the trees. This in a weird way almost makes me think of birds over water.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought too.
Yeah, it's just cool to imagine using the forest as your you're hunting.
Your ocean, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Plunging into the depths of the foliage and everything as if it was the water. Anyway, I just think that's just cool imagery.
Yeah. Yes. Very good.
But so anyway, then the owlery door opened behind him. Harry leapt in shock and turned around quickly and saw Cho Chang holding a letter and a parcel in her hand.
Hot Lips Chang.
Good save. And Harry, great opening line, is going to say, hi. And but Cho, without missing a single beat, is going to respond, oh, hi.
Wow. Young love.
I know. It's just these are the moments. This is what we live for. And then we get another little piece of trivia, because it is, why was Cho at the owlery the morning that Harry sends the letter to Sirius? And it is because she had only just remembered that morning that it's her mom's birthday.
Forgetful is what I'm seeing here, Harry.
Right. Although ironically, she does have a letter and a parcel, which means that she bought her mother a gift already. So she forgot she bought a gift for her mother and then
forgot I didn't send it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I'll give her that.
Right,
okay.
right,
Okay.
yeah.
She did remember. She got a gift.
She got there indeed. Yeah. And then, Harry's sort of right. And then he goes, nice day, gesturing out the window. And I love Jim Dale's delivery of his own internal embarrassment.
Yeah.
He goes, the weather. He was talking about the weather.
He's no, what did you do? Even Harry knows. He's Neville's not here, Ron's not here. This is my chance, and I'm talking about the weather.
Right.
Fortunately, Cho saves him. She's yeah, good Quidditch conditions. Haven't been out all week, have you? Which I'm surprised she hasn't, because the Gryffindor team has been out there doing stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it is surprising, especially because she's not even in OWL year. She's a year ahead of Harry.
He's a year ahead, you know. Why is it, who is Roger Davies is the captain, isn't he? I'm like, it feels like Cho should be like under captainship consideration.
It does feel that way.
Yeah.
It does feel that way. Although this is also interesting because there's like so much text filling up this like half page. But what Harry has said so far is, hi, right, nice day, no. Like if you tabulate all of Harry's half of the conversation, that's all he said so far.
Right. Yeah. He has not gotten in like a real, like legitimate juicy sentence.
Right. Whereas like Cho has said, oh, hi, I didn't think anyone would be up here this early. I only remembered 5 minutes ago. It's my mom's birthday. And then Harry says, right. And then she goes, he says, nice day, referring to the weather, and has his own little inner monologue there. And then Cho goes, yeah, good quidditch conditions. I haven't been all week. Have you?
Yeah, Cho's a better conversationalist than Harry.
By far. And it's not even close.
And it's really not. She's got way more words in so far. And then she even has enough interest to know that Gryffindor needs a new keeper. Hey, has Gryffindor got a new keeper yet? And then finally Harry has something he can say. Yeah. It's my friend Ron Weasley. Do you know him? Which immediately brings up the one person that like Cho doesn't like, apparently.
Right. The tornado hater. Said Cho rather coolly. Is he any good? And then Harry goes, yeah, I think so. I didn't see his tryout though. I was in detention. It's like,
yeah, actually, I don't know. I did something bad.
It's like, Harry, you are barely in this, man. Like,
barely.
She is literally throwing you nothing but softballs.
I'm starting, like earlier you had the scapegoats with Neville and the Mimbulus and Ron and the tornadoes, but now I'm starting to think maybe it was you the whole time.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, put the shovel down, buddy.
Put the shovel down.
But
fortunately, Cho was impressed by his detention.
Indeed, yes. And that's because she goes, that Umbridge woman's foul, she said in a low voice, putting you in detention just because you told the truth about how he died.
I mean, no one ever said Umbridge was one for jokes,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, if you wanted
no sense of humor,
Flitwick is your man.
Exactly.
He would have got it.
He would have gotten it. Everyone heard about it. It was all over school. You were really brave standing up to her like that. So despite Harry's 6-word conversation so far, Cho has managed to compliment him on getting detention, tell him he's brave, ask him about Quidditch, take an interest in his friends. She's doing great on this one page she has to talk.
Yes. And Harry is still recovering from how distracted he was by the Thestral.
Hey, I would bring that up.
I know. Be like, hey, did you see this too? Because I'm seeing something weird.
Yeah. Like when we take the carriages up to the school, I'd love to ride back with you at the end of the school year, by the way, just saying. Do you see horses pulling the carriages?
Right. Tell me. Tell me. Because my friends, they say they don't see them, but other people do. But like Luna, Luna?
I swear I just saw one in the forest.
Right. Maybe we could stand here together and look at the forest together.
Would you like to admire the view with me? The sunlight is thick.
Thick with silvery light.
I know.
Yeah.
See, Harry, you could do better.
Exactly. And you just needed us. That's all.
And you know what she would say? Oh, yeah, Hagrid told us about them last year. For our OWL year.
Right. Yes. He introduced us to Tenebris.
Yeah, to Tenebris. My special favorite. That was after we stopped learning about the Scroots.
Right, exactly.
Oh, the Scroots. I had to fight them in the maze. Oh, that's where Cedric. Back to Cedric. I know.
All roads lead back to Cedric.
I know, don't they?
Or at least that's a challenge we've put upon our own shoulders.
It is.
Anyway, I also absolutely love this line. It says, for a moment, he considered accidentally on purpose showing her his cut hand as he helped her tie his parcel onto her owl.
And then I love this. You kind of lose it. It says, but the instant that this thrilling thought occurred...
Nothing could be more thrilling.
Like Harry's like, I've got an idea. Hold on, let me. Whoops! Oh, look at my hand. Whoops!
Did you see that there? Yes.
Hey.
Cho's like, yeah, I like that Harry guy, but then I think he was like kind of like into close-up magic or something. And
like he knows we can do real magic, right?
Right. It's unnecessary.
Yeah,
we could just make things disappear.
Yeah.
But at that exact moment, Filch, if we're talking about Neville and Ron both being mood killers, it's like, talk about a third person you want at your first date.
Filch. Third wheeling for you.
Right. His name is almost Filth.
Yeah.
And they're standing on Owlship.
Right. They sure are, man. They sure are. Interestingly, though, this goes way better than when Neville and Ron interrupt him.
It's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. Yep. And I like it says that there's a restless shifting of wings from above, and a large brown owl snapped his beak in a menacing fashion. This is going to be at Mrs. Norris, to which I wrote in the note, I like that owl.
I like that owl.
I like that owl.
I like that owl.
So everybody keep an eye out for a large brown owl because I'm a big fan.
Big fan.
Big fan, yeah. Aha, said Filch, taking a flat-footed step towards Harry, his pouchy cheeks trembling with anger.
Pouchy.
I've had a tip-off that you are intending to place a massive order for dung bombs.
Also, is it illegal to order them? You know,
It seems like you can just buy them at Zonko's.
At Zonko's,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Like it can't. I can see having them being a problem.
Sure.
Sure, that can be something you're not allowed to have, but ordering them doesn't seem like a problem.
Doesn't seem like a problem.
Who's
Yeah.
to say you're going to have them sent to the school? Maybe you're having them sent home. You know,
As a gift for your mom.
exactly.
It could be her birthday after all.
It could be. Yeah.
Oh, not for Harry, but
Yeah.
too soon.
Not
Too
for-
soon.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no.
Dead Lily jokes.
No,
not as
those
funny.
aren't as funny at all.
No, that just hurt. I feel bad about that for what it's worth. So let's just move on past it. Anyway, who told you I was ordering dung bombs? I have my sources. Now hand over whatever it is you're sending.
Feels like a pretty fair question. I mean, like, who said that? You know?
Right, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it was Umbridge.
Yeah, but then I love the response. Harry goes, I can't. It's gone. And Filch is like, gone? Gone, said Harry calmly.
I'm sorry. Gone!
Yeah,
said Harry calmly.
He shouted it. Sorry, headphone users.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Let's see
I
here.
did go a little aggressive there, but
That's okay. We'll turn it down in post.
Harry's feeling nervous with this whole show situation.
Yeah,
You know?
and the Thestral out there swooping around the forest like a giant bird of prey. How do I know you haven't got it in your pocket? And then Harry's like, because... And it's like, this is like one of those where it's like, it could be as simple as like Harry just turning on his pockets, but alternatively, Cho chimes in. Yeah. I saw him send it.
Said Cho angrily.
Oh, yes. So let me try that again. I saw him send it.
Oh, God. I like, this is maybe Cho's best moment, like, in the whole series.
It really is.
Like, look at her just standing, straight up lying for Harry. She did not see him send it.
I know. I literally wrote, this is better than their real first date.
Yes.
This whole thing is better than when they go to Madame Puttyfoot's.
It is. It is.
That is them trying too hard.
Do you know what this actually is super like?
What is it like?
It is very much like when Harry and Ron save Hermione from the troll. Wherein afterwards, Hermione lies to the teachers for them.
Oh.
And the end result, if I recall, is that there are some things you can't do without becoming friends, and defeating a 12-foot mountain troll is one of them.
Right.
Right. And they are friends forever after that. So as far as I'm concerned, maybe Ginny did do some sabotage here, you know? We got some real best friend action happening on the page.
It does feel that way.
Right?
It does feel she's got his back.
She's got his back. She's lying for him. Doesn't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. There's a moment pause in which Filch glared at Cho, and Cho glared right back. And it's like, okay, going toe to toe. I love that.
Such a good moment for Cho.
Right? And then we get from Filch, if I get so much as a whiff of a dung bomb. And it's like, using the word whiff in relation to dung bomb is just sort of like, it stinks, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
But that's how you would detect a dung bomb.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm officially under the belief that the only person in the school with dung bombs is you, Harry Potter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which for Harry must be like, oh, crap. It's like, I go to, no pun intended, but I go to school with a whole lot of kids who also have the ability to buy dung bombs. And it seems like they get set off in the castle with fair frequency.
Can't
so Harry's like,
notice no one checks the trunks when we get here.
Right.
Pretty easy to get them here.
Exactly.
Yes. And so Harry thanks Cho, getting in his maybe 9th word on this conversation.
Yes. Thanks, Harry said. No problem, said Cho, finally fixing the parcel of the barn owl's other leg, her face slightly pink. You weren't ordering dung bombs, were you?
Would she even care?
I know.
Is this like the line? He's like, you know what? I would hate to have defended you if you were, because I super don't like them.
That would be the kind of thing where it's like, who are you kind of like a prankster? You know, like who am I dealing with here? Tell me more about you.
More about you.
And instead, Harry's going to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I wonder why you thought you were then, she said. She carried the owl to the window. Harry shrugged. He was quite as mystified about that as she was. It was like, I don't know, guys. It feels pretty obvious you were literally just talking about it.
Right. Yeah.
Figure it out faster.
Right. Yeah. It's like, who has it out for Harry right now?
I know. You literally just sent a letter you were afraid was going to be intercepted.
Right.
And now someone's here asking for your mail. Like, figure it out, man.
Yeah. Get there faster. But then again, Cho was going to say more words and Harry and say, I'm going this way. Well, I'll see you around, Harry. And Harry goes, yeah, see you.
Great conversationalist. The most of what he said at all was just, yeah, my friend Ron in this conversation.
Yeah.
That's about it. He doesn't ask her a single question.
Right. Harry, it's not all about you, okay? You know, maybe you need to get to know her better and like what she's going through.
Exactly. In fact, your inability to understand what she's going through is kind of what's going to sink this whole relationship.
Right. Yeah. But Hermione gets it.
She does. She gets it, man.
Classic.
Classic Hermione, understanding Cho and Harry and stuff. Really understanding Harry. You know,
it seems like she's paying like an awful lot of attention.
A lot of close attention to Harry.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Let's see here. Harry says he had managed to get through an entire conversation with her and not embarrass himself once. It's like, well...
Oh, you just didn't say anything this time.
Yeah. And also, except for the whole dung bomb accusation, because it's like, because that's the coolest thing to be accused of.
I know.
Like in front of your crush.
I know.
It's like, I hear you're ordering dung bombs. Yeah. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah, I think...
Couldn't have been something better.
Yeah, you're just lucky that Cho already likes you, or I don't think you would have come off great here.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You were really brave standing up to her like that. She called him brave. She did not hate him for being alive. What a relief.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. Of course, she had preferred Cedric. He knew that.
But did she?
I know.
Is the other thing there. It's like, yeah. I'm so sorry I cut you off. Though if you'd only asked her to the ball before Cedric had, things may have turned out differently. She had seemed sincerely sorry that she had to refuse when Harry had asked her. And it's like, this is like one of those things where Harry is like so firm in his belief that Cho must have liked Cedric more because Cedric asked her first. Right. And it's like, that's not how it works.
It's not how it worked. Yeah. I mean, granted, she did seem to like him quite a bit after that.
Well, she did, but you know, but still, it's like anyway, it doesn't matter.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, she seemed like she liked you, and then Cedric asked her, and then she was like, "Oh my god, this is so much fun! What a great guy!" But now she's like, now that I guess he's out of the picture, you know,
right.
Whoops, I'm gonna go back to my other crush.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so then Harry is running into Ron and Hermione in what must be the most jarring exchange that they've had with him all year, because Harry walks up and is like, "Morning," and they're like, "All right, who died and what happened to Harry?"
What happened to Harry? You're in a weirdly good mood.
Right, yeah. Ron is immediately like, "What are you looking so pleased about?"
Yeah.
And Harry's like, Quidditch later, of course.
Yeah. Also, I can't believe he doesn't just say, I can't believe he's not just like, just ran into Cho, you know? Like they know you like her. Right?
Exactly. This is no secret. You could just be like, "Hey guys, best friends in the whole world who know about my secret crush. Guess who I just ran into and totally didn't make a fool of myself in front of?"
Yeah. Also, Filch accused me of sending dung bombs, and Hermione would be like, "I bet it was Umbridge." And you'd be one step closer.
One step closer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, of course, the mention of Quidditch makes Ron like super nervous, which is it's so funny because Ron has been like trying to soft launch his Quidditch career the whole year. He finally gets on the team. They have a whole party celebrating that Ron got on the team, and now it's the first practice, and Ron's like, "I hate Quidditch. Why do I even want to play?"
I know. Yeah. So he's super nervous about it. And he's asking Harry if they'll go out a little bit early so that they can practice together. And then Hermione is immediately like, "Look, I don't think you should do that because you guys have a lot of homework that you have not been doing."
And she is going to be like a real stick in the mud about this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She's going to be like genuine, like actually mad at them for not doing their homework.
Yeah.
Not just like that feels like a bad call to me. Like to me, it's like, I could see you thinking it's a better idea, but to actually be mad they don't do it seems weird.
It does seem weird.
Yeah.
It does seem weird. Yeah. Yep. But then the Daily Prophet arrives and Hermione pushed a Knut into its leather pouch, which I was like, hold on a second. I'm listening to the new like Audible, full cast version
yes.
Of Sorcerer's Stone. And Hagrid advises Harry to pay 5 knuts.
Wow.
In the hut on the rock for the Daily Prophet, which makes me think the Daily Prophet's like, man, like, you know, we need to sell more copies, so maybe we need to like lower prices.
We got to lower
something.
prices.
Yeah. And it's going to come back up on the next page as well. So basically, my tinfoil hat theory, Daily Prophet, almost bankrupt.
Wow, not doing so good now that they're, you know, under ministry control.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's like the public can tell. They don't know what they can tell, but they can tell.
They're like, I'm not paying 5 whole knuts for this anymore. You're going to have to lower if you're doing full page ads for Madam Malkin's on the very next page.
We want less ads and we want more down the center journalism.
Yeah. Is that so much to ask for?
Not so much to ask for.
Right.
Also, actually, you know what? And this is not in defense. I was going to say down the center journalism, and I was like, it's not like the Prophet was always doing that. Rita Skeeter was terrible. But then I'm like, do you know what? They don't have Rita Skeeter anymore. They don't have like their number one journalist.
You're right.
So maybe people aren't buying it as much.
Oh my gosh, Rita Skeeter's sitting there like, all right.
I mean, I told you.
Yeah, rest in pieces, Daily Prophet.
Yeah. Well, it's not even her call. It's Hermione who's like not letting her write.
No, I know. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. But I mean, it must feel good if you're Rita Skeeter to be like, oh wow, they're like, without me, they can't hold up.
Well, prices are down. What do you know?
What do you know? Yeah, people must not be buying. But yeah, so then we get a little bit of a description as to what they are actually reporting on. Hermione says just some guff about the bass player of the Weird Sisters getting married. Mm-hmm. This is Donegan Tremlett.
Donegan Tremlett. I know. I read that name and I was like, please, no one ask me about Donegan Tremlett.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a detail to just try to log away for the rest of your life.
Also, another tremendous sentence here. She opened the paper just here behind it. This is it. Harry devoted himself to another helping of eggs and bacon. Devoted himself to it.
Right.
I was like, well, I literally wrote, now that's a sentence.
It is. I mean, it is Thanksgiving week here, you know, in real time as we're recording. So I'm about to devote myself to eating some turkey and mashed potatoes.
Same.
Yeah. I like to make the turkey, mashed potato, gravy roll sandwiches. Mm-hmm. That's the ticket for me.
That's the ticket, man. Yeah. No doubt.
Anyway, not the point of this moment. Let's see. Wait a moment, said Hermione suddenly. Oh no, Sirius. And then we have a little bit of an article. It says the Ministry of Magic received a tip off from a reliable source that Sirius Black, a notorious mass murderer, blah blah blah, is currently hiding in London.
Yeah, this is just like, and they're going to take this so seriously, and it's like, I mean, haha, pun not intended, but it's like Sirius, when they ask him about it, he's like, they're always guessing or whatever,
right?
And it's like they don't like give him any credence. They don't like, you know, believe him because they're so concerned that Malfoy saw him on the platform or whatever.
Right.
But it's like, guys, if you recall, the person in charge of hunting for Sirius is in the Order of the Phoenix, and his name is Kingsley Shacklebolt. Okay?
You've seen his office with your own two bespectacled eyes.
You know him. He came over for meatballs.
Meatballs.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And also, he's in Grimmauld Place, so he literally cannot be found. Okay. Like,
super good.
You don't even need to worry about it.
As long as Dumbledore is fine, we're fine.
Exactly.
And you know what? Sirius will die before that. So
yeah, it's really gonna be fine.
It'll be okay. Anyway, but yeah. So then we get a little bit more description of it. And I think Hermione is gonna chime in like, well, he just won't be able to leave the house again. That's all. And it's like, well, he pretty much was already not leaving the house at all. That's
exactly it.
That's kind of been the problem.
Did we think the Death Eaters don't know any other members of the Order of the Phoenix? You know, like, why is it so much worse for Sirius to be seen out than them? Because he's like a wanted criminal, I guess.
I mean, I think that's it. Yeah. It's like, and I think that's kind of like the big plot line that just sort of has to like be maintained is there. We have like, because Peter got away, we haven't been able to prove Sirius's innocence. And so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, you can't ever let go of what was supposed to be the hunt for the notorious mass murderer, even though there have been no other attacks that could be linked to Sirius.
You know what Dumbledore should actually do, or what Sirius could actually do?
What?
Is go out, be seen very publicly, and just be like, Voldemort has returned.
Oh, yeah. You know? Right. Because then it would be sort of like, oh, crap. One of his most devoted servants is saying it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That would work.
Yeah, everyone would be like, oh, no. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I made the Malcolm's joke, but that's because Harry looked down glumly at the bit of the prophet that had been torn off. Most of the page was devoted to an advertisement for Madame Malkin's Robed for All Occasions, which was apparently having a sale.
Well, see, they're having to sell bigger ad space now because the prices of subscriptions have gone down.
You get it.
Yeah.
You get it exactly. Because the little piece of article that is at the bottom of this page actually otherwise feels like it would be of like important interest, because it says trespass at the ministry. Sturgis Podmore, 38. Trivia, if you can remember how old Sturgis Podmore is. Of number 2, Laburnum Gardens Clapham.
Clapham?
I am certain that the Brits listening right now are like, you guys suck so bad.
I am also certain that it is not within some form of journalistic integrity to give people's home addresses.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Has appeared in front of the Wizengamot, charged with trespass and attempted robbery at the Ministry of Magic on 31st August. Podmore was arrested by the Ministry of Magic watch wizard Eric Munch.
There's Eric Munch, who we brought up earlier in the book. He was the guy doing the crossword or looking at the Daily Prophet when Harry got checked in to go to his hearing.
Thank you, Eric.
Yes, thank you, Eric. There he is, Eric Munch. He came back. See, we told you would. And then just note that it was the 31st of August when this happens. It was actually the day before they went back to school. So it was not Sturgis getting caught that made Voldemort have a surge of emotion when Umbridge touched him.
Right. Yes, that was one of the things that was kind of like, oh, could that be it? Because we're about to hear about that particular thing. But,
right, because he's going to read the article the very next morning.
Right.
But apparently this article is coming out a week late.
Yes. And in which time, I guess the judicial system in the Wizarding world operates rather quickly, because he's already appeared before the Wizengamot in the 1 week since he's been caught trespassing.
Yes.
And sentenced to 6 months trivia in Azkaban.
Man, not so great. And then they're all like, wait, Sturgis Podmore? He's the bloke who looks like his head's been thatched, isn't he? He's one of the Orden. Hermione's like, Ron, use code words.
With the wings.
Yeah.
Snuffles.
With the wings. Come on now.
Our big friend.
Our big friend, I know. And then Harry's like, 6 months in Azkaban for trying to get through a door? What? Let's see. It says, don't be silly. It wasn't for trying to get through a door. What on earth was he doing at the Ministry of Magic at 1 o'clock in the morning, breathed Hermione. It's like, you guys know that they're doing guard duty somewhere every single night. Like, you know that. You lived there. Arthur was going to stay up late doing his report in the middle of the night. Right? Like, you know there is middle of the night guard duty. And for some reason, now that one of the Order members was caught in the middle of the night, you're not like, and you even know he was on guard duty that night.
Right.
Like, figure out that what they're guarding is at the Ministry. It is not hard.
The pieces of the puzzle are there. And the reason they can't figure that out is because otherwise, like, Sirius and all the other stuff happening later wouldn't be as like, whoa.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is, you're absolutely right. Like, they have every piece of the puzzle, they're just not putting them together.
Yeah.
And then Harry remembers that Sturgis was supposed to be part of the guard that was supposed to see them off. And that's like where Moody was like all annoyed because he didn't turn up. And he was supposed to be on some sort of job for them. So.
This also is Moody being like, it's like, it says they're going to use the fact that Moody was annoyed that he didn't show up is like, and Moody was all annoyed because he didn't turn up. So that doesn't seem like he was supposed to be on job for them, does it? It's like, yeah, I guess you're right. But then at the same rate, it's like, but except that he was on a job for them guarding the stone. So it's like, so Moody genuinely should have been concerned.
Right.
It's like, oh man, someone doing a job for the Order didn't show up the next morning.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that feels like the kind of thing where it's like, Podmore's not here. Hey, who was on guard duty last night? It's like Podmore. It's like, uh-oh.
Right. No one's like, hey, security breach.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Again, the Order is so bad at their jobs. Like, anyway. And then Ron points out it could be a frame up, and he's actually pretty close. Yeah. He thinks the Ministry is the one behind it, not Voldemort.
Yeah, they've lured him to the Ministry, and he wasn't trying to get through a door at all. Maybe they've just made something up to get him. And it's like, not far off, Ron.
Not far off. I don't know why you'd think it would be the Ministry, and I guess because they think Ministry is against Dumbledore and that he's related to Dumbledore. But it's like, one of the Order members went missing. You know the Order's fighting Voldemort. You don't think it's Voldemort?
Right. Yep, exactly. But Hermione immediately is sort of like looking rather impressed and says, do you know, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that were true.
I see. This is the misdirect for the reader.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to be like, even Hermione thinks Ron's right. He's probably right.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, they move past that and they decide, or Hermione thinks they should go do homework, and Harry is like, nope, gonna go do Quidditch. But how could he not? I mean, the sky was a clear, exhilarating blue.
I know. Oh my goodness. And then Ron says the most relatable thing ever. I mean, we can do it tonight.
I know.
And it's like, and we've got tomorrow. She gets too worked up about work. That's her trouble.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sort of like, I can't tell you the number of times that I've been like, we can do it tomorrow. It'll be fine.
It's gonna be good. And actually, I do like that Harry does do this instead of the homework. Like, I know, like Hermione, of course, thinks he's making a mistake, and he does have a lot of homework to do. However, this is a great example of what Hermione herself tells Harry before he goes into the mirror chamber, which is that you're a great wizard. And he's like, not as good as you. And she's like, oh, me, books and cleverness. That would be doing your homework. There are more important things like friendship and bravery. That's going to play Quidditch.
Right.
This is the more important things.
This is the more important thing. And really, Harry needs this right now.
Exactly.
You know? Like, he has had a tough freaking week.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, Harry's like, yeah, I do. Still, this is important too. We've got to practice. We want to stay on the Quidditch team. And then Ron's like, yeah, that's right. And we have got plenty of time to do it all. And I'm like, you're trying to convince who? Yourself?
Yeah. Yourself. Definitely yourself. I like that he also says, going back to year one, it says, she gets too worked up about the work. That's her trouble. And it's like, yeah, needs to sort out her priorities, you know?
Also true. Yep. So they finally get out there. Harry finally gets to see Ron playing keeper, but this is also kind of interesting because Harry thought Ron was pretty good. He blocked 3/4 of the goals Harry attempted to put past him, which also means that Harry may be a pretty decent chaser.
Yeah, I'm like you think Ron's pretty good when you, a not chaser, got 25% of your shots past him.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Like any like soccer or football goalie, I feel like probably would not get very good praise if they only blocked 3/4 of the shots.
I know. Especially if the person shooting had nothing to do with shooting the ball.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not like Harry's like a main area of expertise by any means, but whatever, they're just warming up.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I feel like we get so they go back up to the castle. They have like a little bit of food or whatever, and then they come back out for the rest of the team. And it says that all of their teammates but Angelina were already in the changing room when they entered. And then you get, all right, Ron, said George, winking at him. And it's like, that's like one of those where I'm like, oh, we know the truth behind that wink.
We do.
Because like, this is George saying like, you doing all right there, Ron? Like, because for him, he's like, first team practice, first time we're all together.
Right.
It's like, this is happening. You are on the team. Wink. We know. And so that goes back to our whole thing about the doxy eggs. And I actually think we're going to get even more proof that Fred and George were behind Ron making the team, just like one little paragraph down.
Yeah.
So Fred will chime in and he'll say, ready to show us up, Edghill Prefect, said Fred, emerging tousle-haired from the neck of his Quidditch robes. So he says he has a slightly malicious grin on his face, which makes it seem, like the elder brother doing the older brother thing, whatever. But then Ron says, shut up, said Ron, stony face, pulling on his own team robes for the first time. They fitted him well, considering they had been Oliver Wood's, who is rather broader in the shoulder. But do we know two people in particular who might be familiar with Ron's robe measurements coming into this year?
Fred and George.
What is Harry's requirement?
Yeah, they get the dress robes.
They get the dress robes. Why do the robes fit so well, even though Oliver Wood was bigger on the shoulders?
Because they fitted him well. Yeah.
Fitted him well.
Yeah, because the twins have adjusted the robes.
Yes, they have.
Because they know his exact measurements.
Precisely.
Exactly.
It's all there.
It's all right there.
Yeah.
It's so good. Man.
That line in particular, I was like, well, wait a second. Why? It's like, I know that Ron is like considered to be like taller, but he's lanky.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would they fit him so well?
Indeed. Angelina, it turns out, was not in the locker room because she was out realizing that the Slytherins are out in the stands ready to just literally have nothing better to do on a Saturday than like yell at the Gryffindors practice.
Yeah, apparently. And so she comes in and she's like, let's get to it. Oh, and there are a couple people out there watching, but I want you to just ignore them. All right.
It feels like there should be literal rules against watching the other team's practice.
I mean, in the real world with real sports, there are rules against that.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yes, you cannot do that. That's just like, akin to cheating.
Yeah, I think they called it Spygate when it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like what is happening here? Come on, Hogwarts. Dumbledore doesn't seem like he cares about this stuff enough, you know?
Yeah, I know. He's just sort of like, just let them do what they're going to do. They'll figure it out. There's life lessons to be learned along the way. It's
exactly.
fine.
I'm just going to let them make the mistakes.
Right.
You know? They can't learn about corruption if I don't let corruption exist.
Precisely. Yeah, that's backwards logic.
Oh dear. And then let's say I love Malfoy immediately starts making fun of Ron's broom. What's that Weasley's writing? Why would anyone put a flying charm with that moldy old log? Which is to say that this just came out and is almost certainly better than the Comet 260 you were writing back in year 1, Malfoy. Boo, what?
I know. Yeah. I was like, what do we have going on here? Do we have any canonical evidence that suggests that a clean sweep 11 is better than a Comet 260?
I mean that it's newer.
It is newer.
Yeah.
It is newer. So it's like you have to, you just have to assume that like this is just Malfoy just being a jerk.
And it absolutely is. It says like a moldy old log. It's literally brand new.
Literally brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nothing doing there. Anyway, and then my goodness, the Slytherins are in rare form today, and I mean it because we get this really really remarkable line from Pansy Parkinson who says, "Hey Johnson, what's with that hairstyle anyway? Why would anyone want to look like they got worms coming out of their head?" Which, if you don't know, Angelina Johnson is black, so she's just got like the braids going here.
Yes.
So this is not even like blood purity racism. This is like good old-fashioned, regular, real-world racism happening on the pages here, which is like somehow a new low for the Slytherins.
It really is.
I was like, I could not believe she just said that.
It's like this is so wildly inappropriate, and it's like who says that?
I know. I was like, wow. You really don't see a lot of that in these books.
Right.
But here it is, plain and simple.
So that's infuriating.
I was like, wow, Pansy, you are terrible.
Officially on a hit list.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Well, actually, I'm not sorry about that. You deserve it.
Yeah. You definitely, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, then pretty much everything to do, like as mean as the Slytherins are being, it is like what happens before them is pure fodder for their cannons, because it like
they're
Ron,
Chudley cannons, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the ball gets passed around this way, that way, this way, that way, passes to Ron, who drops it. And then the same thing happens again, and he drops it again. And then finally, Ron is going to catch the quaffle, and then out of relief, he passed it so enthusiastically that it soared straight through Katie's outstretched hands and hit her hard in the face, and basically ends up giving her a bloody nose.
I'm kind of like, Ron drops it twice, but then when Katie doesn't catch it, it's still Ron's fault.
Yeah, right.
Why wasn't that Katie's fault for not catching the ball?
Well, gee, I actually drew an illustration here on my page of Ron being way too close, throwing it to Katie, and clearly there was nothing she could do about catching it before it hit her in the face.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. I mean, you know, you could see it right there.
I see it right in your illustration. It makes it very clear.
Exactly. But yeah, so then Fred and George, of course, have their other half, the healing half to the nosebleed nougat that they intend to deliver to Katie, but unfortunately give her the wrong side.
Well, they don't even give her the wrong side. They give her the wrong candy altogether. It's a blood blister pod.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So then she's just bleeding even worse.
Yeah. So, I mean, now it's not just Ron making a right pig's ear of things, is it?
No, not so much. It kind of seems like Katie can't catch the ball. Ron is throwing the ball too hard or dropping it. Fred and George don't know their own candy from blood blister pods.
Yeah.
You know, Harry's just out there trying to like catch the snitch.
I know. There's been the recurring theme of like everything Harry loves is like slowly taken away from him. This chapter is going to like hit him 3 ways. First is going to be right here. They start practice like it's not going good for him, but then at least he gets the snitch out, and it's like he accelerated, rolling and swerving in and out of the chasers, the warm autumn air whipping in his face, the distant yells of the Slytherin, so much meaningless roaring in his ears, but too soon the whistle brought him to a halt again. So it's like he's like out there, he's doing the thing, it's like a nice weather day, he's having a great time. Done.
I know.
Stop.
I mean, this like reminds me of like, in our mountain biking days where we'd be like out in the woods and you're like getting ready to carve and you're just sort of like going through like all the ins and outs of the trees and everything. And then you get like a flat tire and it's just like, I just didn't want that right now. I just wanted to like be free and, like run through the forest and have raccoons and hummingbirds fly beside me and sing in a joyous spirit of cacophony and sound.
Yeah.
I was just trying to use words. I definitely lost the thread. But,
I know.
I was doing my best.
I don't remember the flying raccoons myself, but
well,
I'll tell you what, if I had a bunch of raccoons running on either side of me while I was mountain biking, I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be freaking out.
I'd be like, wow, they're so adorable. What are they doing out during the day?
I know. Why are they chasing me?
Anyway, so Katie is trying really hard to, stop the flow of her nosebleed. I love this line. Harry glanced around at Fred, who was looking anxious and checking his pocket. He saw Fred pull something purple, examine it for a second, and look around at Katie, evidently horror struck.
Oh,
and
dear.
That's that moment of like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Then the Slytherins are doing a very pathetic chant compared to what they ultimately come up with Weasley is our king. Gryffindor are losers. Gryffindor are losers.
Yeah. Very creative.
Yeah.
Very
It's going to get stuck in Harry's head, so it must have like a real cadence to it.
Yours is better. I was just like, Gryffindor are losers. Gryffindor are losers.
Oh, man. Well, one way or another. Anyway, so then Angelina, Fred, and George all flying as fast as they could towards Katie. Katie was now chalk white, covered in blood, needs to go to the hospital wing.
Katie does not have a good couple years, does she?
She really doesn't.
She's going to get quite cursed next year, too.
She is. Poor Katie. Katie is like here for one sole purpose, which is to not be captain of the Quidditch team and also be injured.
Yeah, right?
That's two purposes.
Then you got like Alicia Spinnet over there. She's just like, I'm just here to be on the Quidditch team.
I'm just vibing.
Right. Yeah.
You
know what?
Like this could have been Alicia, and then at least it would have been like Alicia gets hurt and then Katie gets hurt. But
right.
Instead, it's like, no, it's just Katie.
It's just Katie.
She's just a punching bag.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's just going to keep getting it. And then Angelina says, well, there's no point continuing with no beaters and a chaser gone. To which I was like, is there not? Can you, why? You keep practicing for sure.
Put the bludgers away. Just do shooting practice.
Bludgers away, right? Yeah, I mean
penalty kicks.
Right, exactly. Like you still got two chasers and Harry. Let him chase the snitch for a while, and the rest of you just practice on Ron.
Right, exactly. Right. He needs practice. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, they make it back, and Hermione's like, "How was practice?" And Harry's like, "It was," and then Ron finishes, "Completely lousy." And then Hermione, oh god, this is like one of those things where it's like she concludes in such like a very like poignant way.
Yes.
She goes, well, it was only your first one, she said consolingly. It's bound to take time to. And then Ron's like, who said it was me that made it lousy? And Hermione's like, no one. I just thought, you thought I was bound to be rubbish. No, of course I didn't. Look, you said it was lousy. I'm going to go get started on some homework, said Ron angrily. And then Hermione looks at Harry and is like, was he lousy? And Harry's going to be like, no, said Harry loyally.
Yeah. But yes.
But also yes.
But this is also a good like Ron Hermione moment here where it says like completely lousy and it says she looked up at Ron and her frostiness seemed to melt at once. And it's just like,
yeah.
She's just like, oh, I need to be a different kind of friend right now.
Right. I was like, I didn't mean to hurt you. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Yeah. Right. Not a tough love moment, I guess. My bad. I read the situation wrong.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it could have played better, but it was only the first training session, like you said. And it's like, you can tell Ron's just feeling really insecure because Hermione has not actually put her like foot in her mouth here at all.
Right.
You know, she didn't say like, she didn't say it was him. She's just like, it was just your first practice. Like, she doesn't necessarily mean like you, Ron. It's just like you're the team's first practice.
Right. Yeah. Right. True. Yeah. It's definitely like one of those things where when you have a specific relationship with like the circumstances, you're at the center of your own universe, and therefore you're going to hear it in the worst possible way directed towards yourself.
Right. Yes. But so we get to the next day where it's going to be completely full of homework. Let's see. It says most of their fellow Gryffindors spent the day out in the grounds, enjoying what might well be some of the last sunshine of the year. So more sunlight descriptions here. And indeed, it will be some of the last like bright times of the year.
Right.
Because things are only going to get darker.
They really are, and rather quickly, which is going to come up very here shortly in Percy's letter to Ron, where he's going to start alluding to a very big thing that is supposed to be in the Prophet tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, which we all know is going to be the Hogwarts High Inquisitor.
Yep, that is exactly what's going on. So it's kind of late in the middle of the night, and Hermes, Percy's owl, shows up on the windowsill, and all of a sudden they're sort of like, wait a second, what's up with that? It's like, what's Percy writing to me for? And as he opens the letter, it says, that's definitely Percy's handwriting. To Ronald Weasley, Gryffindor House, Hogwarts. I kind of wish it said like squashy armchair next to the fire.
Well, Percy would never.
Yeah,
know?
well, yeah, right. Yeah, that'd be like too whimsical.
I love Ron's like he's like, what do you reckon? What do I do with this?
Open it. Said Hermione eagerly. Yeah, and so Ron kind of like scrolls through it himself, and when he finished, he looked disgusted. He thrust the letter at Harry and Hermione, who leaned towards each other, to read it together. Sorry, I had to.
I mean, it's right there.
Right, it's just right there.
Just lean in together, you know?
Dear Ron, I have only just heard from no less a person than the Minister of Magic himself, who has it from your new teacher, Professor Umbridge, that you have become a Hogwarts prefect.
Just hearing now, eh?
Yeah, just now. How about that? It's like it's almost like you don't pay attention to anything that's going on inside the family.
Right.
I was most pleasantly surprised to hear. I was most pleasantly surprised when I heard this news, and must firstly offer my congratulations.
Always a tone of surprise.
Right, exactly. I must admit, I have always been afraid that you would take what we might call the Fred and George route. And this is where I was like, yeah, someone just needs to punch him in the face.
Right.
I'm like, it's like, I love Fred and George so much that to hear their names slandered, I'm like, no.
Right.
No.
It's just like because what it's really saying is that like no matter what front Percy's been putting up, he has been like disappointed in Fred and George the whole time. And also worried that Ron was going to follow in their footsteps. And it's like, what a rude take on two of your siblings. Oh, if not three.
If not three.
I know. But then the back half of the sentence is no better, rather than following in my footsteps. So it's like, it's saying that like, I've never respected Fred and George, and I do now assume that you are intentionally following my footsteps, which Ron is also not doing.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Let's see here. And then he's going to say, like, I want to offer you more than congratulations, Ron. I want to give you some advice. You know, now that we're in the same corner and everything, prefix and all, hey. Yeah, and it says, from something the minister let slip when telling me you are now a prefect, I gather that you are still seeing a lot of Harry Potter. I must tell you, Ron, that nothing could put you in danger of losing your badge more than continued fraternization with that boy.
So the way he's going to refer to Harry for the rest of the letter is as if he has never met him once in his life.
Right.
Like as if Harry is not a person that Percy knows, and is just like this idea of a rebellious spirit,
which is crazy because like Percy is like one of the first people to greet Harry when he sits down at the Gryffindor common room table after he's been sorted. Like they immediately have like this, like the conversation about like Snape and all the stuff kind of going on there. Percy like bets on Gryffindor like winning the Quidditch cup, you know, like with Penelope in year 3.
Right.
Like, they go to the Quidditch World Cup together. It's like these people are people who have like spent significant and meaningful time together.
Exactly. They have like, he knows him. Like they are like, not just like as you're a sort of my friend's friend that I'm aware of. It's like he has spent summers there. Like you really do know Harry.
Right.
And then I hate this. I mean, I hate so many of them. It says, no doubt you will say that Potter has always been Dumbledore's favorite. It's like, that is absolutely not Ron's defense. Right.
Yep.
But I feel bound to tell you that Dumbledore may not be in charge at Hogwarts much longer, which is like, wow, that's telling right there.
Right. And the people who count have a very different and probably more accurate. The inclusion of the word probably there is also kind of like, what?
I just crossed out more and typed in less.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. View of Potter's behavior. I shall say no more here, but if you look at the Daily Prophet tomorrow, you will get a good idea of the way the wind is blowing.
The interesting thing is that like Fudge is so concerned that Dumbledore is trying to overthrow the Ministry when he's not.
Right.
And in the meantime, Fudge is doing everything he can to overthrow Hogwarts.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Fudge is again seeing exactly what he thinks, like his interpretation of the situation. It's his own insecurity being reflected back at him.
Yes.
He's afraid of being taken over, so he's taking over.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's very annoying.
Seriously, Ron, you do not want to be tarred with the same brush as Potter. Not Harry,
Right.
Potter.
Right. Yes. And let's see here. As you must be aware, given that our own father escorted him to court, Potter had a disciplinary hearing this summer in front of the whole Wizengamot, and he did not come out of it looking too good. And it's like innocent and cleared of all charges, but whatever.
Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Yeah.
It says he got off on a mere technicality, and it's like, no.
The technicality being what? That there were Dementors present?
Dementors present, and a witness was brought to stand, and also like the Wizengamot themselves tried to like trick Harry into missing his hearing and also not having Dumbledore for support.
Right.
It's like everything about it was wrong on the Ministry's part. I almost just swore.
Oh, I know. And then he says, it may be that you are afraid to sever ties with Potter. I know that he can be unbalanced and for all I know, violent. And it's like, for all you know, what do you mean for all you know? You know him. You don't have to guess.
Right. There's been no indication of him being violent at all. Right. That's not a thing. I literally just have question marks written all around that.
Do you remember when he killed the basilisk and saved your sister?
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. Then I urge you to speak to Dolores Umbridge, a really delightful woman.
I literally drew vomit.
Yeah, I just said no.
No,
period.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Who I know will only be too happy to advise you, which that part is probably true. She would love to advise Ron, but he would never take that advice because he is not an idiot.
No, he is not. It says, your loyalty, Ron, should not be to him, but to the school and the Ministry. And it's like, excuse me, what kind of like message is that? Your loyalty?
Right,
You know?
right, yeah.
You're in high school, dude.
I hate all this.
Yeah. I'm very sorry to hear that so far Professor Umbridge is encountering very little cooperation from the staff as she tries to make those necessary changes within Hogwarts. And it's like she's not in charge.
Right.
Like, what do you mean she's not getting cooperation? They have no reason to listen to her.
This is also like such a Percy drinking the Kool-Aid type thing, because you have to imagine that like within the confines of the castle, like Percy saw himself as an authority figure, as a prefect. Above a prefect would be head boy, head girl. Above them would be the staff, and above them would be deputy headmistress, and above them would be headmaster.
Right.
And that is going to be like the hierarchy. So you can only imagine that within the confines of the castle, Percy would have seen the words and instruction of the professors as effectively gospel, as they are higher ranking officials than him, the prefect / head boy.
Right.
And here he is saying, I'm very sorry to hear that so far Professor Umbridge is encountering little cooperation from staff. And it's like, Percy, you realize that like the little cooperation she's receiving is like McGonagall, Flitwick, Snape, like all of the professors, Sprout, they all don't like her. Why is that not helping you understand the situation any better?
Right. It's like because you're right. He has tunnel vision. He's drinking the Kool-Aid hard. Let's see. It says, I love where he says, a student who shows himself willing to help Professor Umbridge now may be very well placed for head boyship in a couple of years. And I think it's funny that Ron just skips that year. So.
Right. Yeah.
Not a concern. You know?
And I literally wrote, who cares?
Yeah.
Like as if that's like Ron's hope or trajectory.
I know.
At all.
Like Ron just does not even care about being a prefect. It seems like.
Right. Which I guess, to be fair, like when he does look in the mirror, is he Quidditch captain or is he head boy?
He's both.
He's both.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess there is that.
Yeah.
To be fair, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring that up. But still, at this point in time, I don't think that's like Ron's key trajectory anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, like at that point, it's sort of like what he's not necessarily, I think, is saying that he wants those things. It is that Charlie was Quidditch captain, Bill was head boy, Percy is a prefect.
Right.
It's like it's not that he is the same things they are. It's that he is the best of all of them.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I think, or I mean, that's what Dumbledore says. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So then going on to the next page, though, or the next paragraph says, I'm sorry I was unable to see you more over the summer. It pains me to criticize our parents.
I doubt it.
To which I was just like, then don't. Then just don't criticize your parents. Yeah.
I know.
And it says, but I'm afraid I can no longer live under the roof while they remain mixed up with the dangerous crowd around Dumbledore. To which I wrote, how dare you?
And then it says, if you're writing to Mother at any point, you might tell her that a certain Sturgis Podmore, who's a great friend of Dumbledore, and I'm like, you know what? You can write to her yourself.
Yeah.
Why don't you just do it? You wrote to Ron.
Right. Talk to your mom.
Do it. Why don't you do it?
Right. Yeah. I count myself very lucky to have escaped the stigma of association with such people.
Such people. Oh my gosh. And I do hope, Ron, that you will not allow family ties to blind you to the misguided nature of our parents' beliefs and actions. And it's like, Percy, you are the one who is blinded, sir.
Yes, indeed. I shall, of course, be ready to accept a full apology.
Oh, it's
when
rich.
That day comes.
Oh, that's rich, Perce.
That's rich, especially because when it comes down to it, it is you who will issue the apology.
It is.
Yep.
It is. And that day will come.
It will. It will indeed. So anyway, we kind of get to the end of the letter here, to which I then included, it says your brother, Percy, but I added Pinhead above it.
I just crossed his name out.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Harry looked up at Ron. Well, he said, trying to sound as though he found the whole thing a joke. If you want to, what is it? Sever ties with me. I swear I won't get violent.
Good Harry, offering a bit of levity to the situation.
There we go.
And Ron is just like, oh my gosh, he is the world's biggest shit. Throws the pieces into the fire, doesn't consider it for a second. Very loyal. Well done, Ron.
Way to go, Ron. Good best friend moment right there. Yep, absolutely. Yes, and I even like this here. It says Hermione was looking at Ron with an odd expression on her face, and I think that it's very similar to like the other scene I keep bringing up, like as it pertains to like Ron Hermione situation, which is about the house elves in Deathly Hallows, like where Ron is like advocating for their safety. I think the same thing is happening here with Hermione, where like Hermione is witnessing like Ron's loyalty in such like a organic, natural, like no part, like he's not being performative. He's not like, doing anything. Ron is genuinely infuriated at the implications being suggested by Percy. And I think it shows that like it shows to Hermione that Ron's moral compass is exactly where it should be pointed.
Right. Like this, it's such a little line here. Just Hermione was looking at Ron with an odd expression on her face. And it's like, what's happening there is this is like one of those moments where like Hermione's like really like falling in love with Ron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's seeing through all of it. So
right.
as I know I've said so many times, like I know we make a huge deal about the Hermione thing, but like it's not like the seeds for Ron Hermione aren't there.
Right.
So anyway, and it's all just for fun anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So, but really what's happening here though, as well, is that Hermione is kind of like coming down from her like position as it pertains to helping them with their studies.
Right.
And she's sort of like, okay, give them here. Like I'll correct them for you. And so, it's kind of like a barrier that like has been like it's been established for this first week of school that Hermione is like basically decided like, I'm not helping you guys with homework. And that puts them in like this, not like
difficult position. Yeah.
Right. Not an unfair position, like nobody is like Hermione's not required to help them.
No.
But it certainly is like one of those things where it's kind of like you get like this like breath of like, oh, okay. Homework at least can be figured out. They're not going to fail their classes.
Right. Yay. Hooray.
Hooray.
That's good. And it's also like, we kind of brought it up when Ron keeps trying to like soft launch the Quidditch tryouts and stuff. Where like, Hermione hasn't even like put it together that like, oh, like she's remembered the speech Umbridge had. But she's like, oh, yeah, I guess Gryffindor is going to need a new keeper or whatever. Like, she hasn't remembered that.
Right.
Like, the things that are important to her are not necessarily what Ron is focusing on, but it's not because Ron isn't focusing on important things.
Right. Also true.
Right.
Also true. Yeah.
And it's like, I think she's having like a personal moment as well where she's just like, wow, Ron had a really bad day at Quidditch. Now he's had a really bad time with his family. And his entire family's been going through it. And like, I sort of knew that, but now I've witnessed it firsthand, like affecting not just his parents, but Ron himself.
Right.
And it's just sort of, I feel like Hermione's like really empathizing with everything in a way that like she hasn't quite been fully able to grasp. Cause like the relationship with her parents, still good. Like she doesn't care as much about Quidditch, but she can recognize that those are important things that her best friends are dealing with.
Yeah. I think that's it's extremely succinct and well said. I think as it pertains to like Hermione, we oftentimes say like, if she is all like, cleverness and books, as you mentioned, compared to like Harry's friendship and bravery, it's like that's sort of like the distance that I think Hermione is traveling in her arc.
Right.
Is like, she appreciates those things. She values those things. This is her like really like, doing a good job.
It's Ron doing those things. It's the more important things.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yep. So anyway, then this is sort of like that moment where like Harry is also like he's just seen written, by hand from someone who he knows and has spent time with, expressing kind of like the exact kinds of doubt about his, person and character that he kind of expected coming into school, but like having seen it like written by somebody like who is otherwise been in such close proximity to him, it's kind of hitting in like a really real way.
It is one of the worst betrayals because it's like, even Harry, I think he's feeling the ramifications of Percy's betrayal in the same way maybe the rest of the Weasleys have been feeling it. It's like he can now feel Percy's betrayal the same way, the rest of the Weasleys did. Like, he knew that Percy did this thing, but it's like, then you see like Molly see Harry's like dead body, and it's like, he's as good as a son or whatever, and it's like, there has been this gap where it's like the Weasleys treat him like family, and he can like think of Ron as his best friend and like think of them like as a family, but now he has been betrayed by Percy in the exact same way the Weasley family has. Like, in a way, he has been treated like a family member by Percy.
Right. Yeah. That's yes. Totally. And so with all of this that's kind of happening, I think that Harry's kind of having this like massive surge of sympathy for Sirius, because Sirius is also in a very similar situation where everybody in the wizarding world thinks of Sirius as this like dangerous murderer and a great Voldemort supporter, and they're all wrong. And Sirius has basically had to like live with the fact that the whole world thinks of him as this like terrible person when he's not, and so that's really difficult. So he's kind of like staring into the flames, daydreaming about Sirius, when sure enough, he sees Sirius's face.
Just pops up.
Yeah. And at first he's like, no, I must have imagined it. I was just thinking about it. And even that kind of goes back to the beginning of the chapter where he sees the Thestral flying over the forest, where it's like the Thestrals are like this thing that kind of like are living in the back of his mind. It's like, why is he seeing this like reptilian horse? Like, why does this keep coming up and nobody else seems to be seeing it? And once again, it's like he thinks he's seeing things, but once again, he's not.
Right. Yeah.
So I think those two things are probably not terribly aggressively tied together, but at least a little bit tied together.
Yes.
And then, so with having seen Sirius's face, Harry like literally goes down to the threadbare rug and is like gazing into the flames. And Ron is sort of like, Harry, what you doing, pal?
Yeah.
And so then it says, he spoke quite calmly, so therefore screamed. After all, he had seen Sirius's head in this very fire the previous year and talked to it too. Nevertheless, he could not be sure he had really seen it this time. It had vanished so quickly. Sirius's head, Hermione repeated. You mean like when he wanted to talk to you during the Triwizard Tournament? But he wouldn't do that now. It would be too serious.
I feel like that's such like a actual use of the pun.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It would be too serious.
Oh my gosh, there you are. Yes, I was starting to think you'd go to bed before everyone else had disappeared, he said. I've been checking every hour.
I love how well he knows them. He's like, they'll definitely be the last three up.
Absolutely. Yep. You've been popping into the fire every hour, Harry said, half laughing. Just for a few seconds to check if the coast was clear yet. But what if you'd been seen, said Hermione anxiously. Well, I think a girl, first year by the look of her, might have caught a glimpse of me earlier, but don't worry, said Sirius hastily. I was gone the moment she looked at me. I'll bet she thought I was an oddly shaped log or something.
Yeah. That is a funny thing. That's the sort of thing that would often like come back later, but it does not.
It doesn't. Yeah.
It's just like, a girl did see him and that's it.
Right. Exactly. Yep. But Sirius, this is taking an awful risk, Hermione began. You sound like Molly. And I do feel like Hermione is going to take up too much of this precious time, basically chastising him for doing a dangerous thing instead of just having productive conversation.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's sort of like, all right, you know what? He's here now. Let's talk.
Let's talk. And he's like, I had to talk to Harry about his letter. And she's like, you didn't say you wrote to Sirius?
Right.
And he's like, I forgot. I ran into Cho Chang. We talked about the weather.
The weather. He was talking about the weather.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Don't look at me like that, Hermione. There was no way anyone would have gotten any secret information out of it. Was that Sirius? And he's like, no, it was very good. He's so proud.
Right. Yeah. So Sirius smiling. Anyway, we better be quick just in case we're disturbed. Your scar. And then, of course, Ron and Hermione are like, what about your scar? And it's like, oh my gosh, everybody stop talking.
Right.
Like, we have a source of information. Let's use it.
Yeah. But they don't. So I have to explain about that real quick. And Dumbledore said it happened whenever Voldemort was feeling powerful. So maybe he was just, I don't know, really angry or something the night I had the detention. It's like, well, I love how Harry like sort of answers it. He doesn't even like ask Sirius what he thinks. He's just sort of like getting confirmation. Like, here's my theory. What do you think?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Sirius is sort of like, well, now that he's back, it's bound to hurt more often. It's sort of like, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. We already sort of knew that. And then it's like, but what we don't know is still why. There wasn't like a thing that happened that night.
Not that we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which is surprising, especially with the Sturgis thing. It feels like that would have been the obvious like moment, but
yeah.
Either way.
Alas.
Earwax. So then Harry's sort of like, so you don't think it has anything to do with Umbridge touching me when I had detention with her? And he's like, I doubt it. I know her by reputation, and I'm sure she's no Death Eater. And this is oddly true. I always come back to this because like Umbridge does seem like she eventually like has Mad Eye's eye mounted to her wall, and she's like all about the Muggle-born Registration Commission or whatever it is. And like, she's clearly evil, and she's wearing Slytherin's locket, you know, but then she can also cast the Patronuses, and it's like she just believes in the organization of the ministry more than anything else.
I
so
know.
It's like
it's as he says, yes, but the world isn't split into good people and Death Eaters, said Sirius with a wry smile. It's like, that's a really good like distinction to make.
it is.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it's highly applicable. It's like it's a very brilliant line.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Then you get the information that she drafted legislation against werewolves, which makes it so Lupin can't get a job, which does sort of answer like a lingering question, like, why doesn't Lupin have a job? You know,
right.
And it's just like, oh, you did something to Lupin. I hate you more.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, the line, you should hear Remus talk about her. It's like, this is like when you have a friend who will like speak negatively about like a person and they never do, and you're sort of like, you must have done something wrong if you made this person upset.
Right.
It's like, okay, because like Remus is not one for hot goss.
Yeah.
You know, and here he is being like, no, she's the worst.
Yeah. Although I don't love Sirius's reasoning that, or while he explains, like, apparently she loathes part humans. She campaigned to have mer people round up and tagged last year, too. Imagine wasting your time and energy persecuting mer people when they're little toe rags like a creature on the loose. And I'm like, dude, that's its own kind of prejudice. You're not sounding much better.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, or Death Eaters, Lucius Malfoy.
Right.
Like,
you're complaining about Creature.
It's like, and Creature's not on the loose. He's in the house.
Right.
With you. Are you on the loose, Sirius? Are you on the loose? Why do you feel cooped up?
I know. Exactly.
Yeah. Your own logic isn't working here.
No.
But
really, it's just set up for later when Creature is going to like trick Harry.
it is. I mean, right. And he will actually be able to lie to Harry about the safety of Sirius as well. So anyway, but yeah, then Hermione is going to say like, honestly, if you made a bit of an effort with Creature, I'm sure he'd respond. And it's like, as much as Creature has his own prejudice against, you know, Muggle-born individuals like Hermione, she's not wrong.
I know.
Like when Harry ultimately does show him like, you know, some measure of respect in Deathly Hallows, Creature turns his whole game around.
Yes, he does respond. The hindsight is seriously 20/20 here, and you have proof that Hermione is right. So
Yeah.
if only. Hilariously though, he says, you know, he informs them, you know, that Fudge is afraid that Dumbledore's raising an army. He doesn't want you trained in combat. And to me, it's like, is Sirius the one? Is he intentionally planting this idea in their head?
I don't know. I mean, because like literally, it's like he says, "What does it think we're doing? Forming some kind of wizard army?" That's exactly what he thinks you're doing, said Sirius. Or rather, that's exactly what he's afraid Dumbledore's doing. And it's like, so right there within two lines, we have army and Dumbledore.
Dumbledore's army. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's there.
Yeah. Although I think isn't it Ginny who comes up with the name though?
I think she does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so she's not here for this, but nonetheless.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of funny that DA also stands for dark arts because
I know.
it's DA, and then in year 7 is just the dark arts, meaning that class is just the DA.
Right.
Which is kind of funny. But
well, it's kind of funny is that you can think of Harry's as like the first DA. It's the defense against.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Let's see here. And then Ron says, that's the stupidest thing I've heard, including all the stuff that Luna Lovegood comes out with.
Hilariously, you will help found this exact army with Luna.
Yes. Yeah. So, and yet, maybe stupid enough to work in just 4 chapters' time, because that's when we're going to get Dumbledore's army.
That is. Also, can't help but noticing that Ron is thinking about Luna, just out of nowhere here.
Just out of nowhere. What's up with that, Red Moon?
I know, right? Red Moon rising, exactly.
That's right. Let's see here. Fudge thinks Dumbledore will stop at nothing to seize power. He's getting more paranoid about Dumbledore by the day. It's a matter of time before he has Dumbledore arrested on some trumped up charge.
Like a charge of like lies and stuff.
Right. Yes, indeed. Let's see here. And then they ask about the Daily Prophet tomorrow because like Harry's saying only Ron's brother Percy reckons there will be, and Sirius chimes in, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone from the Order all weekend. They're all busy. It's just been Creature and me here. Here, not on the loose.
Right. Not on the loose. Also, like, where's Molly at this time?
Or Lupin.
Or Lupin, yeah. He doesn't have a job. You know?
I guess he's out like trying to consult with like werewolves and stuff like that. But
Poorly.
It's just not going well.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. And then we get the question about Hagrid. It's like, so you haven't heard any news about Hagrid? And Sirius sort of has like the same response that everybody seems to have when it comes to Hagrid, which is just sort of like, well, he was supposed to be back by now. No one's sure what happened to him. But Dumbledore's not worried, and so don't you 3 get yourselves in a state. I'm sure Hagrid's fine. And it's like everybody does seem to have this like massive respect for Hagrid's durability as an individual, which is fitting because later Hagrid will be attacked by a whole bunch of wizards and you really can't take him down.
No, yeah.
So it's
he's
like,
very tough indeed.
He is very tough.
Yeah. But I love how he says, I had to respond to Harry's letter. And he's like, well, we don't really think your scar's worth worrying about, and we don't really know about Hagrid, so I definitely needed to break into the common room to tell you that.
That's exactly it. Hey, while I've got you, weren't your next Hogsmeade weekend? I was thinking we got away with dog disguise at the station, didn't we? I thought we could. And Harry's like, no. Well, Harry and Hermione at the same time like, no. And I actually really hate this part of the entire series. Because basically Harry's sort of like, something Malfoy said on the train made us think that he knew it was you and his father was on the platform. Sirius, Lucius Malfoy, so don't come up here, whatever you do. If Malfoy recognizes you again, and Sirius is like, all right, I've got the point. Just an idea. I thought you'd like to get together. And Harry's like, I would. I just don't want you to get chucked back in Azkaban, which is a completely level response from your godson to be like caring about your well-being. But then Sirius's response is, you're less like your father than I thought. And it's like, oh,
ow.
Don't say that.
I know.
You know what he's up against. You know the pressure being laden on Harry. It's like
being a little selfish. The risk would have been a bit of fun for James.
It's so bad. And then Sirius even like ends it by continuing the guilt trip. I'll write to tell you a time I can make it back from the fire. Then shall I? If you can stand to risk it. And it's sort of like, oh my gosh.
I know.
It's, and so basically that does bring us to the end of the chapter. It's funny because the end of last chapter is the scene where Harry kind of like leaves Hermione after like she asks him like if he wants to like help make the hats with her. So I drew a picture of Hermione looking all sad at the end of last chapter. Yeah. And then I got to the end of this chapter. I drew a picture of Harry looking all sad.
Harry being sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what Harry's had here in this chapter is Quidditch didn't go so well.
Right.
He had, Percy out of nowhere. Already wasn't going well, but now it was personal with Harry.
Right. You've got Filch accusing him of ordering dung bombs on a tip-off from some unknown person. Right. And then Sirius guilt tripping the heck out of him.
Yes. So
really after providing him with basically no information.
Yeah. So really the only good thing that happened is that Cho had about 90% of a conversation with him.
That was at least some percentage about the weather.
Yes. Right.
So yeah, good chapter for Harry as it continues. We've made it through chapter 14 of the book. I feel like we close each chapter with just about the same sentiment so far. But hopefully we can, well, I don't even think.
No, the Hogwarts High Inquisitor is just going to be more of the same.
More the same.
If not worse.
As we look forward, to chapter 15 is what I was going to say. But Jay, before we close out for today, do you have a review for us?
I do. Today's review comes from Jen Kenobi, who's also one of our quizmasters over on the Super
I was
Carlin
going to
Brothers
say,
channel.
I recognize this name.
Yeah, they say, hey, brother, can't believe we're already in order. Been listening since the beginning. Here's my question. What would happen if Sirius hadn't gone after Peter? What if Sirius went to Remus and explained the switch? And they both went to Dumbledore and confessed about becoming Animagi, and Sirius switched with Peter. Would Sirius have raised Harry? Or if not, would he and Remus have been uncles Moony and Padfoot, who dropped in occasionally?
It's a dicey question. I can see where you're coming from because it does seem like the more logical thing to do. And even with the person on the receiving end being Lupin, who I think would be open to extraordinary information, the big barrier is that Lupin, just like Dumbledore, believes Sirius to be guilty throughout the course of the year. And it's not until Lupin sees Peter Pettigrew on the map that he is like, wait a second.
Well, but he believes he's guilty after Sirius apparently murders Peter. Right?
You mean back when?
Yeah, like back when.
Right.
So this would be like he doesn't leave the Potter's house and hunt down Peter. He leaves the Potter's house and goes to Lupin.
Oh. I'm so sorry. I thought this was after he breaks out of Azkaban, goes to Lupin instead of chasing for Peter.
No.
Because he could have, like, in that case, Sirius could have just showed up to Lupin being like, hey, Lupin, I'm still alive. By the way, I broke out of Azkaban. By the way, Peter's still alive. By the way, I was framed.
Right.
And then Lupin and Sirius together could just be like, we were Animagus. So was Peter. Peter's still out there somewhere. Blah, blah, blah. Year 3 situation.
Not even somewhere. He's a rat. You know Ron Weasley? Harry's room.
Harry's room. Yeah. You know, the person we're trying to protect and all that. Like, yeah, that's how close the traitor is to him.
Yeah.
Okay. So backtrack then. So this is after James and Lily have been murdered. And instead of Sirius going after Peter, he just goes to Lupin.
Right.
And then everybody can basically just round up Peter from there because then it would be obvious who the traitor was.
Right.
It's a good question. Is it not the case though that Lupin and Sirius are both mildly suspicious of each other?
They are of each other. It is known that there is a mole in the Order of the Phoenix, and each of them thinks it's the other one. Neither of them suspects Peter.
So, but then when Sirius goes to face down Peter, it's because he knows that Peter must have betrayed him because it was Sirius's idea to change Secret Keeper from himself to Peter.
Right. So even Lupin thinks Sirius was the Secret Keeper.
Right.
Right.
So then, I mean, I guess the situation is kind of the same where it's like if Lupin, it's a more rational thing to do. It's less in keeping with Sirius's character. Sirius is definitely going to go towards the confrontation rather than let's take a step back, take a breather, figure out what's going on, make a plan, and go forward.
Well, because, I mean, he is singular in his knowledge that Peter is the Secret Keeper.
Right.
You know, even Dumbledore doesn't know. So, like, if Sirius goes to Lupin, you'd have a situation where it's like Lupin thinks Sirius is the Secret Keeper and thinks he's the mole. And now he's showing up saying the Potters are dead, follow me.
Right. Like, and he's trying to, even if he says, like, I'm trying to direct the blame at Peter, that's a tough pill for Lupin to swallow.
I know. That's a lot you have to, like, take at face value without any, like, proof or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, I don't even think it would make sense to go to Lupin right away. It, like, the thing that makes sense to him is, like, don't let Peter get away.
Because that's your ticket to freedom.
Right.
I mean, not only your ticket to freedom, but that's where you want to get the revenge, the vengeance or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sirius feels he's literally the only one who can do anything about it.
Right. If not him, who can act?
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. So it's a strange what if, because it would send massive ripple effects through the whole story if that situation goes differently. But I do love the world where Uncle Padfoot and Moony are just dropping in at the Dursleys, being like, yo, taking good care of our boy?
Taking good care of our boy.
You know, because it's exactly like what Moody does when he confronts the Dursleys. Is it at the end of Order of the Phoenix when they pick him up from the train with Tonks and everybody, and Moody kind of like reveals his eye and like scares the crap out of Vernon? Yeah, I could see situations like that happening. I could definitely see some like the Dursleys are not capable of treating Harry as poorly as they want to because they're being watched.
Right.
And their belief would be that the wizarding power was so powerful that they're always under a microscope.
Yeah. I assume that even if Sirius was like cleared ahead of time, and even though he was his godfather, Dumbledore would insist that the Dursleys raise Harry because of the bond of blood.
Right.
Because otherwise, any other wizarding family could have done it, and that it sounded like there were even volunteers for it.
Right.
And that obviously would have been better for Harry, but the protection level is like Dumbledore's main concern. So I think Dumbledore would have insisted that he'd be there anyway.
Right.
But if Sirius is free, there's no way he's staying away from Harry.
None whatsoever. I mean, because I really think when it boils down to it, that like Sirius, like Sirius like basically grows up in this family. He's isolated himself from that family and their whole belief system. He is fully and completely attached his identity to his best friends, but very notably James. And that is like sort of like who he has become as a person.
Yeah.
So at the death of James and Lily, it's like he also loses Peter. He has suspected Lupin, and he like his world is crumbled around him. It's like Sirius's fixation and protection towards Harry is so raw and genuine because it's like it is the final frontier of purpose in Sirius's life.
Right.
Is to protect James's son.
Right.
And he's going to stop at nothing to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless he's guilt tripping him right here.
Unless he's guilt tripping him right here, which is one of the more disappointing moments of the whole series.
Oh, it sure is.
Anyway, but yeah, I think that brings us to the end of today's chapter.
I think it does. Thank you guys, as always, for listening so much. Don't forget that we are going to be live on tour in the Southwest at the beginning of next year. We're going to be going to Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Denver, Dallas, Houston, and Phoenix.
Yes. I think not in that order, but all those locations. So if you want to check it out and get tickets, I believe that Denver and Salt Lake City are already sold out.
Yes.
However, there are some meet and greet add-ons available at the other places, as well as tickets as well. So be sure to check that out at supercarlinbrothers.com/events, where we will have links to all the various ticketing locations.
Yep. Otherwise, thanks for listening, and make sure you join us next week for Chapter 15, the Hogwarts High Inquisitor, here on Through the Griffin Door.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.